Always love this time of year and media day, and especially coming off of Maryland Madness, being prepared for the upcoming season. But I think the first thing I want to say is I continue to be really proud of the consistency and the tradition that we've been able to build here. I know for us last year, we went into a lot of unknowns. The first time going into the Big Ten Conference, losing Alyssa Thomas, your three-time All-American, and so to be able to kind of make history by going undefeated in conference play, winning the Big Ten tournament, receiving the #1 seed, and then being able to go to back-to-back Final Fours. And I think that's the thing, for us is that, new teams, new seasons, but in terms of our culture, things don't change. Our players that we continue to work really hard to recruit and to be able to bring into our program are players that want to come here and they want to work hard to be successful. So, having said that, with the success that we had, it was also probably, as I go into year 14 here in Maryland, probably one of the busiest off seasons that you could possibly have. I think, I've been fortunate that I always have taken a mindset that I really welcome change. I think it's healthy, and I think that you get a lot of great new energy when you have change. I'm really proud, to be able to extend the coaching tree when you talk about Tina Langley and Marlon Chin going on from being assistants to taking over their own programs. Something that, I'm still in touch with them and really proud of them for making that next jump. With that, we were able to hire, in my mind, two of the brightest assistants out there, with Beth Shelby, our recruiting coordinator from Virginia Tech, a fearless, relentless recruiter who's continued to put her stamp on this program. And then Terry Nooner, just recently from Alabama, played at Kansas on the men's side, and also brings his own signature and energy into this program. We had to hire a new strength and performance coach, so we were able to hire Patrick Estes from Denver, coming off of a lacrosse national championship, and he's been a big addition for us as well with our players in the program. This summer, our players continue to do what they do, and that's put a lot of work in the weight room as well as into their game in the off season. This year, again, we're going to be led by our seniors. We have 4 great seniors who have been to 2 Final Fours. Pretty much all they know how to do is cut down nets. So they continue to instill the work ethic. Melina Howard represents everything, that our program is about. Awarded the NCAA Elite 89 award last year for the highest GPA. Pre-med, both on and off the court. She represents our program to the highest degree. Chloe Pavlik has been putting in a ton of work, and proud to say she's been extremely consistent at the point guard, which obviously is a position that's wide open for us right now going into the season. She's done a tremendous job. Tierney Fearman, potentially, had she not been, she's had a little setback with an injury, that she will be back here soon, but could potentially be our most improved player of anyone in the offseason. And then Brenda Mosley, like we all know, is a big-time gamer. Her 5th year, has continued to do a ton of things for us as well at the point guard position. Our juniors probably had the biggest summers when you talk about being selected to USA Basketball. They both, respectively, Shatori got to play with the Pan American Games over in Toronto, and Brianna Jones got to play with the World University Games. And so, with this international experience, it has really kind of broadened them. They got to play in hostile environments, play against professional players, and I think that helps us in terms of what their expanded role is going to look like this season. They're going to have to play a lot more minutes for us. They're going to have to put a lot more points up on the board for us, but it's roles that I think that both of them are capable and more than ready and want. Our sophomores, like you expect, you hope they make that next jump after being freshmen, and excited to say I think they've all really improved. Kristen Conroy went to point guard in college. She's our 3-point shooting specialist. Kiara Leslie, a lot faster, stronger, more confident in her sophomore year. Asia Ellison is in the best shape of her life, a ton of confidence. And Alexis Harrison, has been slowed a little bit by a foot injury, but is coming back and is by far one of our most athletic players. And then you talk about our newcomers, 2 McDonald's All-Americans that are transitioning really well. Probably the one furthest ahead is Kaya Gillespie, very versatile player. This kid's going to be really special out in Connecticut. Just wants the big stage, wants the big moment, ultra competitive, a matchup nightmare in terms of her versatility. Brenda Frese, again, is going to be someone who has a great feel for the game, shot blocker, really active rebounder and scorer for us inside. And then we were able to pick up a transfer, Aisha Small from Baylor. She'll have to sit out this season, but she brings, again, if there was a game today, she could play just a level of toughness. She can defend, she can rebound, she can score. She's going to be a huge addition next season for us when she becomes eligible. So looking forward to our non-conference. We've got to take a tough trip to the Virgin Islands and go play 3 games out there, Old Dominion, South Dakota State, and Pittsburgh. And then, we'll play Syracuse in the Big Ten ACC Challenge game at Madison Square Garden against UConn, 3-year contract that we just signed with them, home and away. And then that will prepare us for the schedule in terms of getting ready for the Big Ten play. So I'll open it up to any questions.
You can raise your hand, we have microphones, and then say your name and affiliation, please.
Hi, Brenda Frese with the Washington Post. After being picked to win the Big Ten again and going undefeated, he's planning again to try to go undefeated in the conference, and obviously it's going to be a difficult task.
Yeah, it was really never our plan last year to go undefeated. You just want to continue to win as many games as you can, and it was kind of a result in terms of how we worked. So nothing really changes for us. We just want to be the best version of us. We want to set that bar high and that standard, and I think when we continue to work hard, great things will pay off for us.
Brenda, over here on your right, Pat Donahue from Rosses.com. You talked about new season, new team, but same culture. How would you describe that culture, and what is it that you do specifically with your team to build it?
Well, I think first and foremost, you got to find the right type of players, and we've been able to find players that kind of have that blue collar mentality, that just want to come in and work extremely hard. So whether that's in the weight room, whether that's getting on the court and getting shots up, I think first and foremost that's been finding the right type of player that wants to work and really is a team player first. Is about the team before anything else. And then I think, obviously as a head coach and with our coaching staff, it's then trying to foster certain things out of it. Obviously, I'm a very positive, confident coach that wants to kind of bring that out in their players on their team. So kind of putting those 2 things together.
Brenda Peters, Baltimore Sun. We've had a lot of success for a long time. Great success. We were undefeated in the Big Ten last year. Moving to the Big Ten rates the profile of your program, or is it the other way?
I'm sorry, that's a question.
Has moving to the Big Ten raised the profile of your program, or has your program raised the profile of the Big Ten?
Wow, great question. I think a blend of both. I think we were able to showcase ourselves in a new league. I think, first and foremost, I'll say the Big Ten Network raised our profile a lot. We were in homes that we haven't been in on a national scale. I could feel that immediately. But I also think, from our end, it's a top 10 program, back-to-back Final Fours that has hopefully elevated as well going into the Big Ten Conference in terms of from a national level.
Jason Dumas, WHAG. Obviously, there's a culture of winning here. Now, when young players come in, is that something that they understand from the get-go, or do you rely on some of your older players to kind of show them the Maryland way, the Terp way?
Yeah, you definitely rely on your experience and your older players to help prepare them. But then, and it is the ownership, is when they first come in the summer in the weight room, and you've got your strength coach and you've got your upperclassmen, they feel it. So they might hear about it, they might want to come in and be a part of it, but then you have to kind of own it when you feel it, when
Kyle Stackel from the Diamondback. The loss of Lauren Vincent and Lexi Brown. How do you plan on replacing that production and leadership in the backcourt?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to really miss Lauren Mincy's leadership, and, what she brought to the table, obviously, and as a fifth year in your program and how we played for her. But I'm very confident in our 4 seniors that, they're going to do a tremendous job. They've done that throughout their entire career. Obviously, you don't plan to lose your starting point guard after back-to-back Final Fours. So for us, that was unfortunate. But at the same point, I am proud of the fact that we've never centered our program around one player. Even when we had Alyssa Thomas, we were able to this last season to go to the Final Four. So it just means more players are going to have to step up, which is what they want. Shatori and Bree Jones are going to have bigger roles. And then you talk about 2 seniors, point guards. So unfortunately for us, we're not having to transition a young point guard. They both have started in their careers, both Chloe and Renee. And then we're going to have to get some consistent scoring from some other players to fill that backcourt. But we will be thinner in our guard position. But that's made us have to get a little bit more creative with where our depth lies and be able to look around it.
Brenda, with consecutive Final Fours, is this season kind of a championship or bust mentality for this team?
I've never really, kind of put a mindset like that. It's always been about championships. And for us, just continuing to play at that highest level. And I think when you do those kind of things day in and day out, you'll continue to be successful. There's too many things in a season that can go in different directions that I just think when you stay in your pursuit of where you want to be, those things will follow.
Coach Frese, Kristen Bursett, WSA 9. You obviously, with the success, always able to get your players playing mentally at a high level. Coming off an undefeated season, back-to-back Final Four, what is your message for your team this year, and is it any different than years past?
No, it doesn't change. It doesn't change. I think if it did, then I think your wiring would probably set your team in a little different direction. You come to Maryland to win championships. You come to Maryland to compete at the highest level, both in our conference as well as nationally. And I think, for us, that's what it's always been about. Yes, we want to take that final step. We did it in 06, 10 years ago with the anniversary this year, but I'm very confident that we're right there knocking on the door.
Coach Frese, Carol Maloney, NBC4. Everyone's talking about the championship expectations, and it's the same every year, the bar that you set. Wondering what it is about this year, this team, and it's for every head coach this time of year. What keeps you up at night? What's the most nerve-wracking part?
For us, we just had an inter-squad scrimmage against our scout guys over the weekend. So, as a coach, you see all your weaknesses and all your holes. For us, again, we have a small margin for error in terms of our backcourt. So, with foul trouble, injuries, an illness can take a hit this year. That's uncontrollable in some regards. So, from our end, we're going to have to navigate where our strengths lie and continue to do what we do, which is really rebound, especially hard, run in transition, and be really aggressive.
Coach, Dave Preston, WTOP Radio. You did go unbeaten. The team did go unbeaten last year in the Big Ten, but it was by no means a cakewalk. This year, the lid looks even tougher. What concerns you about what you see?
Yeah, obviously you go through the league, everybody gets a little bit more comfortable both ways. For us, it's playing teams again for a second or third time, and vice versa. They get to play Maryland and start to kind of figure things out. So a lot of teams that have improved. Ohio State brings back everybody, and so a lot of programs, are going. When you talk about the challenges that lie ahead of us. We were in so many competitive battles all year long. So there's just keeping focused and taking it one game at a time.
We get asked this every year, but the men's team's getting amazing national attention. For what they might do, and you've already done a lot of that. Is that all good from a school standpoint, or is there a
part of it that says that you kind of move the shadow?
It's all good. I mean, and I can flip it on the flip side. When I came in 2002, you know, the men had just won a national championship, and that exposure for the men transferred into so many households for us to recruit for the women when we were rebuilding. So it's all great stuff to have two dominant programs, both the men and the women, and the exposure that both teams are receiving. You know, it's all about Maryland, and for us, that kind of exposure is huge for both programs. So we'll take as much of it as we can get.
Coach Frese, with the success of going to back-to-back Final Fours, was it a little easier on the recruitment trail this year? And one other quick question is, how satisfying was it to go into Connecticut and pick the best player they had?
Well, I'll start with the latter. I mean, yeah, obviously, you know, Kaya Gillespie. You know, I love players that have that mentality that they want to kind of go create and help the team build their own dynasty and go beat UConn. And Kaya Gillespie has it. And I think you'll see that when you see her play. She's going to be a really special player in this program in terms of what she's going to be able to do. And yeah, you know, I'm really proud of the recruiting efforts, you know, our staff has had. You know, it's one that we've built like the last 2 or 3 years, and then coming off the Final Four. This is probably in November going to be a top 3 recruiting class in the country in terms of what we're going to be able to sign. So the future is really bright when you talk about moving forward.
Ben Holmes, 105.7 fan. Coach Frese, we talked about the winning culture. We talked about 4 seniors you have. Does that make it less difficult or more difficult to sort of gauge the temperature in the room for your job and say how much to motivate, push along, or how much is established as to your work ethic?
You know, I think it's you know, every year you're trying to kind of figure your team out and where different things lie. But you know, I will say kind of the flip. I mean, you know, I have a relatively very young staff, but a really experienced core and group of seniors. So it's a great blend. You know, when you talk about where our team is at. But you know, in that locker room, you know, when you have 4 seniors that have gone through what they have in their career, you know, you're going to have, you know, phenomenal leadership. And the thing I'll say about that class is they love to work. They love to work and they love to win.
All right, we're going to move down to the floor.